If only we could realize the extent to which suggestibility plays a part in our lives. It's a state that is based in our like and dislikes, vanity, and our attitudes about what makes something valuable. Let's find out more. I am Molly Knight Forde, founder of the Awareness School, and I'm talking today about suggestibility. It plays such a large part in our lives. We're running around asleep, identified, but we think that we are awake. We think that we make clear choices, and until we do the work to recognize these states of identification in which we're influenced by suggestibility, we don't have a chance to see it in action. Now, it is based in like and dislike, and we often don't want to hear something that we don't like, and we're very influenced by news, media, opinions of others. And if we take the time to find out more about suggestibility and how we are prey to that phenomenon, we are going to see just how asleep we are. Gurdjieff said, "Believe nothing, verify everything." And that may be a little bit confusing to those who are following a faith, to those who are doing practices in which we're reaching for stillness of mind or enlightenment. And the idea that we need to have faith in something is very true. But when we start to work with how suggestible we are, we start to see how locked in we are. And if we can concentrate some of these different parts of us, so they're the ones that are oriented to catching ourselves in these identified states, we'll start to see just how susceptible we are. Now, when I talk about identification, it's a word that's used a lot, and I believe that we have certain ideas about identification. But what I'm talking about is rather difficult to extricate ourselves from. Our attention is totally captured by what we believe. And if we're practicing self-observation, we can start to see how we are influenced by what we believe, by what we like, and by what we think is valuable. You know, what comes to my mind is the story of Chicken Little, and also the emperor with no clothes. That's the exact phenomenon that's going on. There are lots of studies that have been done on hypnotism, on suggestibility in marketing and in propaganda, and how those things can influence someone. If, for example, we hear that someone is very enlightened and such a great teacher, we go to that person with a belief already set in. So we need to question what's really true. We need to verify for ourselves if something works, if we are experiencing what other people are speaking of. It takes a certain state to see whether someone else is truly enlightened or not. We want to be able to discriminate for ourselves what is the truth. And we can't do that unless we start to put it into question. that also goes for the opinions and beliefs that we have about ourselves. And we can be under the influence of those beliefs or feelings of self-esteem. We can be totally identified with our self-righteousness, our intelligence, and we can justify certain actions when they may not really be helping us. So we can also see from the collective that we glom onto things that are crises or waves of fear. And in a way, it leads us to imitation, meaning we want to do what everyone else is doing. If it's suggested that a certain method works for business, or this new trend in yoga, or wearing the things that are in style even, are examples of being under the influence of suggestibility. So one way to start to work with this is to notice examples of believing without questioning. Notice how often you need to have the opinions of others instead of following your own truth. Notice how you're easily influenced. Do you convince yourself to do things based on your beliefs about yourself and about the way things are? This is something that we really can see within ourselves if we start to question. And once we start to do that, we'll see that suggestibility really contributes to a lot of our suffering. Have a great week.